Yes, and today I answered the question, is the hype real for the Legacy Beast Wars Inferno? This is the last item that I got in 2022, and really it's the cap off to my look at everything to do with Legacy, because I'm not really into Unicron Trilogy, so I'm not exactly planning to take a look at the Starscream. There were a lot of cores that I passed over just because they didn't fit in my collection. But this guy certainly, possibly, could. I love the original Inferno. Is the hype real for this guy? Well, we're about to find out when we explore everything to do with him in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button and become a channel member at any given time. And man, oh man, this guy is the last offering that I got for 2022. He appeared on the fan voted list for best of 2022. I think he is absolutely tremendous. I really think the hype is real for the guy, though I have heard some people have some complaints about him. Are they founded? Are they not? Well, we're about to find out, because we're going to head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. So what say we start off the new year by actually rounding out my very last thing that I got in 2022, which was, of course, this guy. It was the Legacy Inferno. This is going to be the end of my look at anything for Legacy as far as I know. I didn't get very many of the cores. I didn't see the point, other than Bomb Burst and Iguanas. Some people have asked if I am going to look at the Voyager Starscream. I'm not planning on getting it. Unicron Trilogy is not my thing. Armada is not my thing. I've heard mixed views of it. I do already have the old deluxe Armada. Actually, one of the scraplets has the old deluxe Armada Starscream, and like, I don't need it. If it comes my way, sure, I'll take a look at it. But for me personally, this is going to be the end of Legacy before we move into Evolution, whenever that shows up. I did get this the day before New Year's Eve, actually, so I did get this at the very tail end of 2022, and based on fan votes, when we looked at the best of 2022, this guy was actually considered one of the best. What do I think about it? Well, we're gonna find out, but before we get into him, we gotta take a look at that packaging first. And here we have the packaging. We can see our Ant Boy down here, over here with his mouth open. I love the head sculpt and I love this artwork. Again, looks good down here. Back somewhat where we can see the entire robot. Our typical Decepticon artwork for Legacy. The QR code if you want to see the stats and stuff. And of course, the packaging images of our boy. He looks great in both modes, does he not? We got a big old double-sided sheet of instructions. They're actually pretty darn clear. They're not bad. I didn't really use them because I find the guy mostly intuitive, but a couple of little parts where I wondered, hey, am I moving this right? I did use this as a reference, and you know what? They're not too bad at all. Our boy comes with this blaster. It is translucent red, painted with a gunmetal gray, which looks real nice. We all know that this one looks more like the spring-loaded gimmick from the original. So, you know, I guess I'm cool with it. It can go stored on his back if you don't want him to have it in robot mode. It can go stored in other areas, but the back is definitely the easiest. And as you can see, we have it put on his back. We will explore the placement of that a little bit more in just a little bit. Here he is next to my original version of Beast Wars Inferno. Sadly, my original Beast Wars Inferno doesn't have the like the piece that should go right here on his tummy with the two little, claws, I suppose, his little mandible, mouth mandible things. I don't have that. I did a ton of custom work on this guy, and I absolutely love him. Now, if you're interested about my thoughts about the original and the custom work that I did on him, I looked at him about 3 years ago in episode 514. So there you go with that. Now, that said, I wasn't sure if I needed the new one. Comparatively, this guy clocks in at 137 grams of plastic. Again, if I had that piece that's missing, it would probably be about 140, which is right in the ballpark of what a modern Voyager should be. This guy, though he's a little bit taller, clocks in at 132 grams of plastic, the same as Beast Wars Optimus Primal, actually, from the Kingdom line. And I said it about Primal, and I'm going to say it about Inferno. If you're going to take away a little bit of mass, and typically the mass for a Voyager has ranged between 145 and 165. If you're going to take away, say, 15 grams, okay, give me value I can see elsewhere. Where's the value that I see elsewhere? The body has a bunch of texture detail. There is added fading paint, which is gorgeous, and even the articulated jaw. So while this is a case where some mass is given up, I feel like that we can look at this and tangibly see where that added value has gone. So I still think that yes, Inferno does fall right in line with being a Voyager, and I'm happy about that. So yeah, here they are next to each other, and this guy is surprisingly, by looks, a little bit bigger. I'm cool with that. Now we're gonna see our boy, the original one, in just a little bit, but let's focus on this guy while we have him here. So, how perfect, not perfect, is Inferno? I mean, boy, oh boy, he's pretty darn close. Let's start from the feet art and work our way up. The black toes is correct. The black back on the heels, correct. The black leg here is correct. Now, this is a faux leg, but it is correct. The blue on the side is correct. I feel like right here, this thigh should be more than blue. I feel like it should be a little bit of more green than blue. But I'm not hateful of it. The purple on the pelvis and the blue kind of waistband belt, that's accurate. The eyes are accurate. The upper arms with the purple and the, I'll say the black inset is accurate. We should, however, have purple on the forearms as well. We don't have that. The hands should be black. The wrist piece here should be red, but I'm okay with it being black. The head sculpt, I mean, arguably should be a little more green than the metallic blue, but come on, the red eyes, the silver teeth, the painted mouth inside, even the painted silver right here on the two little head pieces, like, yeah, it's pretty much all there. I'm going to give this a 9.5. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So 9.5, let's take this off his back. Let's do the articulation for the guy. 9.5 is a very strong start. Like I said, a couple of things that somebody who is a real perfectionist might want to gripe about. Also, I'll say this. These here are also not accurate. Like, there should be one on his arm, but the one that's on his arm really should fold up onto his arm, and these arguably should be on the back, right? So that's again why it's not a 10, and though we have these two antennae down here, they should really kind of be behind his head. So, like I said, a couple of very minor things, right? 9.5. The articulation for the guy, we have a head that goes left and right, it looks up, it looks down, the jaw opens, and yes, indeed, it does close. It's nice. I like that. The arms, they can go all the way around, out to the side. I thought that these legs were going to be more of a hindrance than I find them to be. I don't find them to really be much of a hindrance. Super duper deep, double jointed elbow. We have a bicep swivel. We have a wrist rotation. And while you can turn the wrist, you can also leave the wrist the way it is and move the leg to get it out of your way. Same up here. If you want to get this leg out of your way, like, you can move it up and down in different directions as well to kind of help you get it out of your way. These legs back here, again, if you want, I mean, you can take them right up over the back, or you can do what you like with these as well. I have this left down like a hip skirt type of thing, but we're gonna pick that up for a minute, and we'll get to that in a second. The waist, the guy has a waist when you pick up the rest of this out of the way. Legs, I mean, all the way out to the side. Forward. Back. Thigh swivel. Super duper deep knee. The heel goes down. We don't have, well, we kind of got toe tilt because the whole foot goes down. And ankle tilt. I don't know what else I could really want for articulation. By the way, he's very stable. I have like his whole back piece like stuck off, and really, like, the guy can still stand quite stable. I'm gonna have to say 10 for the articulation. I really am. Some people have gripes with the legs getting in their way. I think that they're easy to work around. I'm gonna have to give it a 10 at least for me. And now you probably noticed that I have this up and open, and this whole section here has two pieces. This one can fold down on the bottom. So now all four pieces here are able to open up, and you can take his blaster and put it in the tight fit, put it in the center there to give him like his back end thrusters. No, we don't have the original gimmick, but this can still go there. And honestly, when you close it all up, you can leave it there for storage as well. I'll show that in a moment. But compared to the original, it's still a pretty good update. I'm just gonna move him over slightly, and I'm gonna move this guy over slightly. You will notice that there is a red button in on the original. If you press that, then all four of these like rotate around. The red button is still here. It's just you can't press it. In an ideal world, it would have been nice if in here was all painted silver with the blue circles. But you know what? The metallic blue that's used here matches his face, matches what's on his legs, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm not angry about it. Again, it's the little nitpicks like that that make the paint a 9.5 rather than a full-on 10. But the articulation, 10, come on, nurse. That's fantastic. And before we do the transformation, because I mentioned it, you might notice that I put his back down, and his blaster is still like plugged in back right here. So you can leave it there if you want. If you don't want it like poked up on his back or in his hand, that's still an option. I absolutely love it, man. Okay, so what I've done is I've removed the blaster. And now we're going to do the transformation. Remember, for look, we're giving him a 9.5 because a couple of things are off, but not much. And for articulation, he's getting a 10. Let's see what the transformation is like for this guy. So we begin by opening up the chest here. And we can even pick up these antenna pieces. Bring out the little, I don't know what we call these, mandibles, I guess. I don't know exactly what they are. But the nice thing is, this piece is what's missing from my original, so this is going to sound stupid to say, I'm sure, but I'm really happy to have it here, as weird as that is. This brilliantly just comes up over his head, and then it just closes up over his head. It's so intuitive, so logical, makes so much sense. Big fan so far. Next we're going to pick that up for now. We're going to, now they tell you in the instructions to do the arms next. I'm not really going to do that. I'm going to pick them up here out of the way, but I find if I do that, then it gives me problems later on. So I'm actually going to rotate the waist first, and you'll see the way the hinge is here. We collapse the leg up and we collapse the leg up. We take the toes and fold them in, the toes and fold them in, and then this whole foot comes up around on the back of the leg. And now we have a peg here that goes to a peg hole on this leg. Over here, if I can just line them up thusly. Yeah, nice. Okay, once we have that done, and this is the part now where I don't want to say it's tricky because that's not true, and the legs might even come apart here, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We bring the entire waist up like he's sitting down, and then we will bring the hips down. If you know Skullgrin, the Legacy Skullgrin does the same sort of trick where the whole hip thing goes up. Now, what I have found is if I put the arms in first, and really what should happen is the little thumb section here goes into a little square, I guess, hole in there. But I found if I put the arms in first, then what happens is I have trouble getting this waist turned in the right way. So I do it this way. Then I'm even going to, for now, bring that down over. Actually, I'm going to bring just this piece down over. There's a couple of tabs. Where are the tabs? Right here on the ankle, and another one here, and they go into holes here and here. So I'm going to try and line all that up. It's very similar to the original, except on the original, where these tabbed in was basically on this piece that's folded down instead of on the actual like feet, say, right? Because it's just the way that that transformation goes. Little challenging from this distance to line it up. There, I think I got it. Then this piece comes down over and tabs in like that. Okay, so it's mostly done now. These legs here I now bring back here out of the way. We'll adjust them in just a little bit. And now we can deal with the arms that the instructions tell you to do earlier. We basically bring the entire arm up, and then we will rotate it so that the point of the shoulder is facing, I guess, the tummy, I guess is what we'll say. And we're going to bring these arms together. There's a peg, a rectangular peg right here in the shoulder that will go into a rectangular slot over here, and same thing, a peg here that goes to a slot here. In other words, the arms lock together. Make sure you have the hands, wrists, whatever you want to call it, in such a way that the little thumb goes into these two little slots here. And you rotate the whole thing in on this blue hinge. You'll also want to manipulate the leg to get that out of your way. Same thing here. Manipulate the leg to get that out of your way. We bring these in and down. We bring this in and down. We push those arms together. We swing out those legs, bring those down. Make sure these are all straightened up. Fix up these back legs as best as you can. And really, in essence, boom. I guess I should probably try and bring these in a little bit more. Maybe angle these a little bit more. There you go. And he holds his weight, by the way. And I suppose, since we're supposed to, you can take this thing and put it up here. Not the best in terms of storage, but boom, in the end, on all 6 of his legs, here we have Inferno in his ant mode. Very intuitive, very nice. I love this purple metallic fading back here. 10. And here is the Legacy with the original. I mean, the original also has a lot of beautiful molded detail, a lot of translucent plastic, but a lot of molded beautiful detail. That said, if you left him the way he was at a package, it's a sea of red, which works in ant mode, but in robot mode, he looks very plain. If you painted him like I did, while it works better in robot mode, it makes the ant mode look like a bit of a hodgepodge. He can rest on all 6 of his legs, but they're a lot weaker and a lot looser than the Legacy one. And they kind of put him in an awkward stance where his hindquarter is up higher than it should be. This looks more natural as an ant. I don't know if he's necessarily one of my favorites of the year because it's been a jam-packed year, but I can say this. The look is a 9.5, the transformation is a 10, and the articulation is a 10. I understand why this guy got the votes he did to become one of the fans' top 10 picks of the year. He is absolutely fantastic. And here we are once again, and here he is. So yeah, in terms of look, it captures Inferno very, very well. The head is excellent. The articulated mouth is real nice because he has such a toothy mouth, right? There's a couple of areas where the paint, I think, not so much that it should have been applied differently, but maybe some other colors other than the metallic blue. But I'm not going to complain too much because the metallic blue is beautiful. Like some green on his thighs. I already talked about, like, in these ant butt pieces, I guess, what I would have liked to have seen. About the only thing, though, that I really see as a grievance for some people, though it doesn't really bother me as much as I thought it was going to, would be the legs on the arms. I can't really complain about the legs that are on his hips because the original had legs on the hips. I get it. This one is supposed to be kind of folded up tighter on the forearm. And the one back here, yeah, okay, I get it. That's kind of a nuisance, but to be fair, they're able to move in such a manner that they really don't get in the way of articulation, or at least they haven't yet for me. Maybe they do for you. I'd heard so many good things. I knew that he was on the fan voted best list. I didn't know if he was going to make my own best list or not. But I have to say, after handling him, the plastic feels robust. Though he gives up some mass, I mean, his entire back and all of the, I'll say, organic ant bits, it's all got texture detail and a ton of it. The fading of the purple paint, man, there's just so much here to just keep exploring that it's hard not to like the guy. If you're not a Beast Wars fan, he probably won't be for you. If you really adore the original, he may or may not be for you. I love the original. I love this one. I think Inferno is one of those characters who, while he hasn't had very many offerings, both that he's had have turned out very well. Let me know what you think about Beast Wars Legacy Inferno. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can hit the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, you can always hit the join button and become a channel member at any time. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.